And we have altogether, I think, 7 posters or 8. I recommend that we start all the poster presentations one after the other in the beginning, and then move all questions to the end. To the wider community following us on the YouTube live stream, you have the possibility that while you're watching the YouTube live stream and listening to the presentations, that you tap in your questions or in a separate window on the VUVA conference platform under the session Q&A section. So make use of that, and your questions will be posted directly on my screen so that I can inject them afterwards in the discussion. So with that having said, I would like to invite the first presentation of Asif Hamid. Could the IT host start the presentation, please?
Dear listeners, my name is Asif Hamid and welcome to my poster presentation, which is about morphological and genetic diversity of domestic yak at high altitude rangeland of Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan. I'm doing my doctorate at Unicastle in the section Animal Husbandry in the Tropics and Subtropics, Germany. In the mountain range of Hindu Kush and Karakoram at northern Pakistan, yak is an important farm animal for providing milk, meat, and other domestic and agricultural needs. However, the genetic studies on this farm animal are rare, since it's a neglected animal species in the region. So, we examined the morphological and genetic diversity of yak population involving 120 yaks from 6 different populations, and from each population we selected 20 animals, 14 cows and 6 bulls. Body measurements and hair samples were taken and 13 microsatellite loci were used to determine the morphological difference and the level of genetic variation and relationship within and between populations. Body measurements, heart girth, body length, height at withers, and at rump area differ significantly across 6 populations. The mean age was found 5.7 years, and one of the interesting phenomena we observed in Hopper Valley, though the average age was 4.8 years, but still the body measurements were very close or even more than the mean value. One of the possible reasons is that the yaks in the Hopper Valley lives in a semi-wild condition, and the broad and also the fittest and the bigger yaks get the maximum chances for the breeding. In addition to the body measurements, we also observed that the horn length, muzzle circumference, tail and the hair length, backline and head profile also differed significantly across 6 populations. Black, blue, brown, gray, white, yellow were the 6 colors we found, and plain and the patchy patterns were also observed. We found that the yaks were having shiny hair and the tail length was also observed medium. Mean observed and expected heterozygosity values were 0.65 and 64 respectively. These values were comparatively higher as compared to the other genetic studies found in the yaks. The genetic diversity was highest in Jepursan and it was also lowest in the Khaplu population. One of the possible reasons is the regular flow of blood happening, yak blood happening from Pamir, which is not closed yet, but it's happening every year now. And the Khaplu is the most isolated valley, and the borders are closed, and also one of the management practices is that they are using the breeding bulls for breeding purpose. The genetic distance was also greatest between Shimshal and Kaplu. I mean, it's very obvious, and it was also smallest between Funder and the Hopper population. We found lower inbreeding value of 0.026, which indicated that that the individual in the populations were less related. And and in the Funder value, among all of those 6 values, in Funder value we found the higher value of inbreeding coefficient, which indicated that in Funder value they use breeding bulls for breeding purpose. And in the bottom picture, the Bayesian interference plot, we found 3 distinct clusters, and you can also see from the plot also that Shimshal and the Khaplu population were the maximum differed population, and Funder and Hopper were the most identical populations. We found high phenotypic and genetic diversity in 6 populations of Gilgit-Baltistan, Pakistan. The average inbreeding was found very less. Our work underlines the importance of yak genetic diversity, not only to obtain better understanding of domestic yak status, but also to illustrate the importance for the development of biological conservation strategies and specific breeding programs in yak to enhance livelihood for subsistence level agro-pastoralists living in the Gilgit-Baltistan region, Pakistan. Many thanks for listening me, and I'm looking forward to all of your questions.
Thank you very much. May I now, please note down your questions and ask them later. May I ask now to Mr. Sahin Alam, share your screen and your presentation with us. The floor is yours. I can't hear your sound now. And Mr. Sahin, unmute your microphone, please.
Resources efficiency.
Thank you.
Welcome to my presentation. This is Shahin along with my other three research authors from International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center, Bangladesh Agriculture University, and Wageningen University and Research. We inquired alternative feeding options to enhance dairy farm sustainability in Bangladesh. To do this, we fixed the goal how do different farming systems perform in terms of profitability, resources efficiency, and environmental impact. In addition, which synergies and trade-off exist between economic and environmental indicators of sustainability. To do this research, we select Bangladesh. This is in South Asia. You can see in figure 1, the dark shade, our two districts called Meherpur and Chennai. And in the figure 2, you can see our selected farmers, selected district and farmers. We select two farmers from each group, small, medium, and large. We did the focus group discussion with fish tools, and after the collecting of the data, we entered all the data from the original farm in the farm design analyzing the tool. And we considered 5 objectives in farm design. After optimization in farm design, we got a potential change between original and optimized farm. We increased the operating profit or organic matter balance and self-reliance, and there is a possibility to decrease the feed cost and soil nitrogen losses. And here, higher operating profit we found in Meherpur district, and as well as we found higher organic matter balance in Janata district. In this figure, you can see there is a synergies and trade-off. We found the synergies in increased self-reliance with lower feed cost, soil nitrogen losses, and higher organic matter balance in figure 3B, 3G, 3D respectively. In addition, higher operating profit and higher organic matter balance we found in figure 3E. We got the trade-off in higher self-reliance with lower operating profit and organic matter balance in figure 3A and 3D. In addition, higher operating profit and organic matter balance with lower soil nitrogen losses we found 3As and 3G respectively. This figure. This is the Pareto optimum solutions from Jailer's farm scenario. We got the increased profit, self-reliance, and organic matter balance, and decreased feed cost and soil nitrogen losses. This is possible as because we entered the different local crops, cultivated crops like Napier and legumes in the optimized farming system. We also altered the cropping pattern slightly instead of paddy cultivation. You know, Bangladesh is a rice cultivated country, and currently we have a supplement of rice in Bangladesh. So there is a chance to incorporate the local crops, cultivated crops and legumes instead of rice cultivation. In addition, we can enter the silage in the main feeding system as well as treated rice straw, as because we got loads of rice straw from the paddy. So there is a huge scope to use the treated rice straw to enhance the farm sustainability in Bangladesh. Thank you very much. I am waiting for your questions.
Thank you very much. Please unshare your
Hello, everybody.
screen again and mute your microphone. And I may next invite the video from Mohammed Tariq. That is the one that was probably sent by Eva Schlecht. Could you start that, please?
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Muhammad Tariq, and I am working as assistant professor at University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, Pakistan. So I did this project under the kind supervision of Professor Dr. Eva Schlecht. So today's my poster presentation topic is managing feed use efficiency in peri-urban dairy herds in Pakistan, with the goal that evaluation of existing husbandry practices to optimize feeding and resource use efficiency in peri-urban dairy herds. So we use the approach that 12 months monitoring of feeding, milk offtake and live weight development of cattle and buffalo was done, and we actually made comparison of feed offer with performance based energy requirements. So we did 12 months data collection on demographic events, types and amounts of feed offered, milk offtake and body weight changes in 15 mixed buffalo and cattle dairy herds in Faisalabad, third largest city of Pakistan. The farms were categorized as semi-commercial small-scale mixed farms, semi-commercial small-scale dairying, and commercial small-scale dairy farms, and they were mainly stall feeding their animals. So regularly collected samples of feeds offered were analyzed for their nutrient composition. So the salient result that we got that offered feed, dry matter, crude protein and NDF differed significantly between the three production systems and four seasons. Offer of cellulose, digestible organic matter and metabolizable energy was similar for the three production systems in all four seasons. A lactating buffalo was actually exposed to a daily metabolizable energy deficit of -7 megajoule and -8.5 megajoule on small scale mixed herd and commercial small scale dairy farms, and more or less balanced energy supply of 1.7 megajoule on small scale semi commercial dairy farms. Actually, buffalo was the main milk producer, highly milk producing animals at these farms. So similarly, daily milk production of fat corrected milk was 13.5 liters in buffalo and 18.1 liters in cattle in all production systems. Milk offtake from cattle lactating buffalo was higher in spring and hot summer than in winter and hot humid summers. So average body weight of suckling buffalo and cattle was 62 kg and 60 kg respectively. In buffalo calves, the body weight varied significantly between production systems. For cattle, on the other hand, if we see, the cattle were low producing animals at these farms. Daily metabolizable energy oversupply ranging from 14 megajoule, 18.7 megajoule and 17.1 megajoule was calculated on small scale mixed, small scale semi commercial dairy farms and commercial small scale dairy farms respectively. So we can conclude that trends toward undersupplying animals with high milk yields, both cattle and buffalo, having high nutrient demands were observed. It was also observed that overfeeding of animals with low milk production and less energy requirements. So we conclude actually that more efficient feed utilization in these dairy production system could be achieved firstly by separate feeding, group feeding of buffaloes and cattle respectively, and secondly feeding according to the physiological and productive status of the animals. So last but not the least, managing feed shortage periods with adopting silage and hay making strategies. So thank you very much. This is all about my presentation. Now open for the question answer session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And we invite the video from Muhammad Ali Mian, who is in the session but has sent a pre-recorded video.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Alimia and my topic is why small ruminants breeding and meat production is a challenge for local farmers in Attock region of Pakistan. First of all, I will tell you about some importance of the meat production. As Pakistan is the third largest in Asia who supplies the mutton and goat meat. Sheep and goat production is one of the major economic activities under the arid and semi-arid conditions of Pakistan. As the population of Pakistan is increasing at a faster rate of 2.6 per year, so the potential of the livestock is very much high. Sheep and goats were reared as a subsidiary source of livelihood in Pakistan and utilized for milk, mutton, skin and wool production. Aim of my research is that identification of local breeds of livestock species and determination of production and health parameters for sheep and goats. Secondly, is socioeconomic characteristics of the small-scale livestock farmers and their meat production. I will focus on district Attock, which is in Pakistan, and in Attock there are 6 tehsils and 349 villages, and a comprehensive question is prepared uh, through survey in the particular area and experimental observations of goat species reared under controlled conditions. The results, as we can see in the charts, 72% farmers are male and 28% are females. More than 46% of the farmers are old age, which is around about 46 to 55 years. Fair majority, 56% farmers are income are more than 10,000 to 20,000 rupees, Pakistani rupees, which is very high in Pakistan. As we can see in figure 5, that small ruminant production management practice, vaccination is high, record keeping is low, newborn is high, housing of animal is high, 70%, which is very high. Identification of animal is 82%. Like it means that farmers take good care of their animals. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed for that. And the next two speakers are not in the session and did not send a video. That is Ben Lukuyu. I don't know where he's got to because I saw him this morning. And then that is Pius Mbuya, and he's also not here. We will skip to Rahimi. He is in Zoom but wants me to play the video. So, and we have Jaber Rahimi. And maybe a brief announcement to the folk out there following us on YouTube live stream. Please
So what I'm
use the
going to do is to give
possibility
you an
to ask questions. There are 15 of you attending and none of you has asked a question. This must be changed. So please, the video. Thank you.
So what I'm going to do is to give you an overview of what we have done for the observations and projection of heat stress for livestock species in sub-Saharan Africa. You know, heat stress describes the situation where livestock, primary cattle, are not able to dissipate body heat effectively, and their body temperature rises above normal. Heat stress initially leads to reduced feed intake and production losses, but in extreme cases, it can lead to even death. In this figure, different aspects of the heat stress impacts on livestock is shown. To this end, our objective was to assess current likeliness of heat stress during the historical period and analyze the trend of heat stress during the historical period and project future heat stress for different livestock species in sub-Saharan Africa. The obtained results indicates that in recent decades, the frequency of severe danger heat stress events, I mean, the events that result in significant decreases in productive and reproductive performances has already significantly increased at 95% confidence interval in the region. For example, for dairy cattle, it increased in more than 20% of the study area. We also found that by the end of 21st century, under both RCP scenarios, the frequency of severe and dangerous heat stress conditions and the mean average length of consecutive days with heat stress events are likely to significantly increase for almost all livestock species. Summary results on frequency of heat stress categories and the length of consecutive days with severe and dangerous heat stress for different livestock species by 2021 to 2050 and 2071 to 2100 period under both RCP 4.5 and 8.5 scenarios are being shown in this table. Such changes in frequency of dangerous heat stress condition, for instance, may affect on average about 15% of our current livestock production in East African countries by 2071 to 2100 climate period under RCP 8.5 scenario. This figure shows the impact of climate change and milk production in East and West African countries. Our results shows that severe and dangerous heat stress in animal caused by climate change looks set to hit milk and meat productivity in sub-Saharan countries, and our result highlights the hotspot of climate change in this area.
Thank you very much. We have now one poster that has not been uploaded on the homepage, but he has at least sent a video. This is Helmi Metavi. So then we could ask our IT host to just play that video, although Helmi's not there and we can't look at his poster. But anyway, play it and then we shall enter the discussion.
Comparative performance of sheep and goats raised in water-limited area. This study was conducted in two agroecological zones located in the north coastal region of Egypt. The Taba zone, symbolized by GA, and the Sidi Barrani zone, symbolized by SCB. The average annual precipitations was 108 mm for GA and 259 mm for SCB during the period from 2005 to 2015. Agro-pastoral is the predominant production system in SCB, and pastoral production system is predominant in the GA zone. The GA zone was intentionally chosen to include dry climatic conditions in order to assess the effect of water availability in the performance of sheep and goat. The main breeds of sheep and goats available in the study area are the local breeds Bal'i sheep and Bal'i goat. Data were collected from a total of 100 small ruminant breeders using structured questionnaire. The general linear model SACE 2004 were used for analyzing the data. The result is that the share of small ruminant in the household economy ranged from 47.2% in SCB to 78.8% in GA. Sheep and goats in GA have significantly higher average age at first parturition interval, lamb and kid mortality rate, and lower weaning weight than in SCB zone. Sheep productivity was 30.3% lower, and the total annual variable cost value was 19% higher in the GA than in SCB. Goods productivity was 22.3% lower, and the total annual variable cost per dog were 14% higher in the GA zone than in SCB. The degree of dependence on rangeland is the main reason for the variability of feed cost in the two zones. The returns on capital invested in sheep production are 22.3% for SCB and 14.4% for GA. The returns on capital invested in goat production were 20.4% for SCB and 16.7% for GA. Our findings support that goats raised in limited water areas perform better than sheep. Household livelihood in GA zone can be improved by developing appropriate strategy to reduce the costs of animal feed. Thank you very much. بتشتغل بقى ماضي حلو قوي.
So thank you very much. That means we have all the presentations through, and I also welcome Dr. Muhammad Tariq, who has just joined us for the discussion. And I'll open the floor for questions. And Eva Schlecht has asked the first online question to Jaber. Jaber has answered already in writing, but please, Jaber, the question, because we want also our YouTube followers to hear and listen to your questions and answers. So therefore, how did you define heat stress? Remember this heat stress study done by KID? Did you use species-specific thresholds, and did you acknowledge the presumably better environmental adaptation of local breeds as compared to exotic breeds?
Hi, that's a good question. Actually, there are few studies about the formula and the threshold for tropical breeds. And we try to use the most used formula in tropical region for calculating the THI value. And for the threshold, we try to use physiological analysis, which has been done, for example, for zebu cattle in tropical environment to see how, in which threshold, for example, the production will change, for example, and in which threshold the severe heat stress will appear. And therefore, we try to modify the thresholds, but the formula itself comes from, as I said, the most used method which has been used in tropical regions.
May I just follow up on that? What was your, I didn't quite get it. What was your climatic parameter that you used? You defined these areas there. What did you measure actually?
We have relative humidity and temperature, obviously. And we try to use these two parameters for calculating the THI value. And then we divided this for different thresholds.
But this would be the average temperature and the average relative humidity, right?
No, we calculated for every single day, for a year, for example. And then we counted the number of days with severe heat stress in a year. For example, imagine we have 20 days with heat stress. It would be 20 divided to 365. And we calculated the frequency, and we calculated how these frequency will change in the future.
How do you then account for different day length and sunshine durations? Because that heat load accumulates in the animal.
Yeah, you're right. There are different strategies for calculating the THI, and the best one is based on hourly values, because at night they have a kind of time for resting, and the THI value for daily basis is not able to show it. And in our analysis, we use the daily values because we were trying to use bias corrected GCM data for future, and it's not there was not available data for hourly bias corrected.
Okay. Yeah, I can see. Maybe one other question that came in online to you. There's, in fact, two of them. Alice Onyango. Considering the number of pure and crossbreeds as compared to indigenous breeds who are supposedly heat resistant, how important is heat stress in sub-Saharan Africa? And at what threshold of average temperature increase do you expect climate change to have a significant effect on indigenous breeds that are adapted to hot climates?
So our analysis is more showing the, it's not about the industrial, and it's more about agripastoral production system. And in that condition, it's more about local breeds, and the production is already low. And I mean, they are already being somehow, we have crossbreeds in that area. As I said, we try to consider these differences between, for example, exotic breeds and crossbreeds, and in agripastoral condition. And there's one paper for dairy cattle in West Africa, and I will send you the link, and you can go there and read more how we try to consider these differences.
Yes, thank you very much. And apparently there seems to be a lot of interest in this topic. And please, everybody, make use of the WUVA community function, where you can get personally in touch between the askers of questions and the speakers and everybody who's interested in the topic. May we switch to other presenters and questions? I have no more online questions, but I would have a question to Asif Hamid, who studied genetic diversity in yaks, and you studied 6 different subpopulations, if you like, in different valleys. And my first question would be, do farmers actually distinguish these subpopulations? If you ask them, are these different breeds or different types of animals, what is their judgment?
Thank you for the question. Actually, we did the survey in 6 different populations, and in one of the population, I mean, if you go through the populations, people, they don't, the farmers or the herders, they don't recognize as a distinct breed. They only recognize it like, if we ask a question, would you think that these animals are really specific? So sometimes they have a blood coming from a different region, like from an Afghanistan region. So they immediately spot that this is a different animal because it looks completely different, and we have to have these males from the Pamir region, from the Afghanistan region. So they considered the blood that coming from the outside as a distinct breed, but whole of the blood or whole of the animal that is in the population, they somehow consider it as a one breed. Yes.
Thank you. And there's another thing in your conclusions. You said genetic conservation strategies and specific breeding programs could enhance local livelihoods. Now, in your study, you just focused on getting a better information on the diversity. But once you have the diversity, how could a breeding program actually enhance livelihoods? What would you breed for if it were you?
Yeah, that's really a nice question. Actually, as I told in the introduction session, that no studies have been done on the genetic diversity of yaks in Pakistan. So our first aim was to see the genetic diversity or the picture of genome available in our region. And once we go through all of those data sets and the practices that farmers were employing, we figured it out that in some of the valleys or in some of the populations, they have a specific breeding programs. Like they only considered a specific bull, so they like to raise a specific bull, and then few herds or a specific community just breed their animals with the specific herd. So sometimes they bought these specific male from different region also, but sometimes they do not have that resources to bought the biggest one or the best males from different valleys or from the different region also. So when we analyzed the data and when I went through all of those six populations, I saw different breeding strategies being seen in all of those six valleys. So that's why I concluded at the end that maybe a specific breeding program, I mean, to conserve the genetic resource of the yak also, and also, I mean, yeah, in few of the valleys also, the when they also cross it with the cows also, so then they have a hybrid. So that's why it's also getting hybrid animals. So that's why my focus at the end was also to put that thing in, that maybe there might be a specific breeding program that help the farmer to enhance their livelihoods. So that's why I consider at the end that the specific breeding program and conservation of animal genetic resources should be a useful method.
Yeah, okay, so you have no specific breeding goal in mind that would then produce better producing yaks with a specific product that farmers
No,
can sell.
actually there is a one example in one of the valley that is very near um, uh, to the city area. So those herders or those farmer have access to the market. So
Mhm.
here one of the possibilities is that they can raise for the meat production. So and already one of the NGO, they are providing the best yaks. So they are getting the best yak and they are providing that male yaks to the valleys. So now they are trying to focus it, I mean, keeping in mind that they can sell their yaks after 3 or 4 years to this market also, because there is also there is a huge um, kind of like benefit that they can get. So in one of the valley, they can focus really on the meat production also. So that's
Okay,
one of the quick examples. Yeah.
thank you very much. We move to Dr. Mohammed Tariq, and I have an online question for you from Marion Reichenbach, who follows on YouTube. And she asks, in your abstract, you suggest that peri-urban dairy producers could adopt silage making. How feasible is it?
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes?
Okay, thank you very much, Babush. It's long time that after I am seeing you, so it's very good question. So from peri-urban dairy farmers' perspectives, it is only very good strategy that we can adopt for the conservation of fodder scarcity. So because in the peri-urban areas, we have very limited land available along with the dairy farms. So there we can have the fodder from the rural areas. We can cut and chop there, and then we can bring it to the city area. Peri-urban areas we have where we have the buffalo and dairy colonies, and there we can dump and we can use it year round. Can you
Yes, but
and secondly, nowadays in Pakistan, the silage is also available commercially. So many of the companies they have their agriculture farms and they are making these silage bales at commercial level, and now they have made their selling points near these peri-urban dairy farming colonies. And whenever any of the farmers when need these silage, they can contact these points and can purchase from these points.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions that you yourself have among each other?
So, so I want to add to Mr. Asif's, answer that he has already delivered to you, because I am working with Mr. Asif, in the Hunza Valley on Yaks, as his second supervisor, inland supervisor. So, firstly, is it possible that I can also add to the answer?
Say again, please. Is it possible?
I want to add to the comments answer of
Yes.
Mr. Asif
Yeah, yeah.
Ali. So first of all, we want to characterize these yaks available in our area, because there is a lot of cross breeding among different yaks coming from Afghanistan, from the cross border, from China. So at the moment, we have many types of them, and in Pakistan as well. So we are really not, you can say, sure of that which type is really very good on milk production and which one is on meat production. So first of all, we want to phenotypically characterize them, and then we would define our breeding strategies for them on the base of the findings that we would get from these baseline surveys.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me briefly move to Mr. Muhammad Ali Mian, who I see is with the Faculty of Tropical Agri-Sciences in Czech University. And I see your study more as a descriptive diagnostic study, where you characterize the small ruminant keeping systems in Attock region of Pakistan. But in your title, you say why small ruminant breeding and meat production is a challenge. And this did not, to me, it did not become really clear from your presentation. What do you see after your work as the main challenge for the people in this region in small ruminant keeping?
Hello. Yes. Can you please repeat your question? I was unable to hear your voice clearly.
Okay. Let me
Sorry.
briefly repeat. It did not become clear to me from your presentation what the main challenge you in your title of the poster you talk of why ruminant breeding and meat production is a challenge for the local farmers in Attock. Huh?
Yes.
But
Yes.
what from your experience now would be the main challenge for them? Because the challenges are many, but what is the main challenge and what would you address if you were to design a development project?
Okay. First of all, I will train the farmers to and help them for their medical issues, veterinaries issues. Many of the mainly the challenge for the goat farmers or sheep farmers are that their health conditions are not good, and and they don't go to the veterinary doctor. They believe in the cultural practices, but in my belief, like I was having a survey with the help of questionnaire from more than 100 farmers. I met them in Attock region, and they were not going to the veterinary doctors. So first of all, the main challenge in my opinion is that they don't go to the veterinary doctor. Secondly, the main challenge is that the farmers do not uh, have the good opportunities from the government sector or from the private sectors to sell their meat, to sell their products, wool products or milk products. So in my opinion, that the second challenge can be solved with the help of that we can make a good project for the farmers or for the buyers. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. It is 7:45 now, and I'm very sorry that we don't have a question left for Mr. Sahin Alam, but please be in touch with the wider community. You can also review the questions that have been asked in this session on the session Q&A section in the WUVA platform. And Mr. Jaber has kindly posted a link there to an interesting article, which I can see here. Meanwhile, I thank every one of you for their presentation and the answering of the questions. And I thank the wider community out there on YouTube live stream for their participation and their stimulating discussion. So thank you very much. And please follow the following session on Ruminant Systems 2 on the YouTube live stream. So bye for now.